There are moments in life when all we want is a yes from heaven. We pray with faith, fast with hope, cry out with intensity, and expect God to say yes. We want Him to open the doors, heal the sickness, restore the relationship, relieve the pain, solve the problem. And when the answer comes, but it's not what we expected, when God says no, our hearts tremble. The questions arise. Did He hear me? Do I not have enough faith? Why didn't He answer the way I asked? This is the theme of our message today, understanding God's no as part of His love. It may sound contradictory, but there is grace, purpose, and redemption in the Lord's silence or denial. And in this message, you'll discover that God's no is often a yes to something much greater. Let's begin by looking at Jesus in Gethsemane. On that dark night, the Son of God knelt in agony and prayed, "Father, if it is possible, take this cup from me." He, who was fully God and fully man, felt the weight of the suffering ahead. He asked the Father that, if there were another way, He would take it, but He ended with a phrase that defines the heart of those who trust. "Yet not my will, but yours be done." And the Father said no. Jesus had to drink the cup. The suffering was not avoided, but it had an eternal purpose. The cross was not the end, it was the path to resurrection. When God says no, He is not rejecting us. He is shaping us, teaching us, guiding us. The Father's no to His own Son was a yes to the salvation of all humanity. Maybe you're facing a no from God right now, a door that didn't open, a dream that didn't come true, a healing that hasn't happened, and everything inside you is crying out for an explanation. But God doesn't always give us answers right away. Sometimes He gives us peace before He gives us understanding. In 2 Corinthians 12, Paul speaks about a thorn in his flesh, something that deeply bothered him. He prayed 3 times asking God to remove it, and the answer was no. But along with that denial came a revelation. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Paul then understood that this no was actually a gift. God didn't remove the thorn, but gave him strength to go on. God didn't change the circumstances, but transformed Paul's heart to endure them with faith. Many times God's no spares us from things we cannot even see. He sees what lies beyond the bend. He sees tomorrow while we only see the now. How many times have you prayed for something you're now thankful you didn't receive? A relationship that didn't work out, a door that didn't open, a project that failed. Sometimes the no is protection. Other times it's preparation. In Deuteronomy 1, Moses reminds the people of when God said no to their immediate entry into the Promised Land. They were geographically ready, but not spiritually. Their hearts were still full of unbelief, and God made them wait. That no in that moment was a yes to a stronger generation, more obedient, more trusting. There is also the no that helps us mature, the kind that forces us to grow, to develop patience, to strengthen our faith. James 1 says that the testing of our faith produces perseverance, and perseverance must finish its work so that we may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. God's no, although difficult, can be the tool He uses to make us more like Christ. He is not as concerned with making us comfortable as He is with making us complete. He wants to shape the character of Christ within us. And that often happens through painful processes, where the silence of heaven echoes louder than the cries of earth. But God's no is not always final. Sometimes it's simply a not yet. God's timing is different from ours. What seems like a delay may actually be preparation. Abraham waited 25 years for the promise of a son. David was anointed king and had to wait years, facing persecution, before taking the throne. Joseph had dreams, was rejected, sold, imprisoned, before seeing the fulfillment of what God had shown him. Today's no may be tomorrow's yes. When God tells us to wait, He is teaching us to trust. Proverbs says that hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Don't give up. God's timing is perfect. There is also the no that redirects us. When we insist on pursuing something that is not in heaven's plans, the Lord, in His goodness, intervenes. He closes doors. He changes paths. In Acts 16, Paul and his companions tried to go to Asia, then to Bithynia, but the Spirit of Jesus prevented them. God was leading them to Macedonia, where salvation and transformation would take place. Sometimes, we are so determined to follow our own route that we forget to consult the heavenly GPS. And God, with His firm hand, redirects us to the right path, not to frustrate us, but to align us with His best. It's important to understand that God is a Father, a loving Father, a Father who corrects, who protects, who teaches. When He says no, it's not out of cruelty, but out of love. No responsible father gives his child everything they ask for. Some requests are denied for safety, for wisdom, out of care. God is no different. He knows exactly what we need, when we need it, and how we should receive it. God's no is always part of a greater plan. Even if you don't see it now, one day you will understand. And when you look back, you'll realize that God's no was in fact a deep expression of His care. If you're going through a moment of denial, frustration, or divine silence, take a deep breath. God is not far. He is closer than ever. Sometimes the absence of an answer is His way of drawing us closer. He wants more intimacy, more communion, more dependence. The psalmist said, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted." God reveals Himself in powerful ways through pain. He is the God who turns deserts into gardens, who transforms mourning into dancing, who exchanges ashes for a crown. Trust in Him, even when what you asked for doesn't come to pass. Remember Jesus. He also received a no, but that no opened the way to glory. The cross came before the resurrection. Pain preceded victory. And the same will happen with you. Don't give up. Don't rebel. Don't walk away. God's no is not the end of the story. It's just a comma in a story He is still writing. And the final word will be victory. May this message touch your heart deeply. May you find peace in the midst of waiting. May you understand God's love even in the face of His refusals. May your spirit be strengthened and your faith renewed. God's no is never a period. It's just a redirection toward the path of the promise. If this word spoke to you, don't leave without leaving your mark here. Like the video, comment, and share your experience. We want to pray with you. Share it with someone else who needs to hear this today, and subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next messages.